Hey, what's up, guys? So I just want to quickly go over, we're getting to vote on our set bonus for season 4, so we'll talk about that. A couple changes I've made to my favorite build, and a few little things that are coming real soon as well, so let's just jump right into it. So before we jump into it, I just want to say thank you guys so much. We're getting really close to 3K subs over on YouTube, which is absolutely insane. So thank you guys for that. And also, if you don't already know, like the stream's been crazy lately. So thank you guys so much for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Come hang out if you're interested. Twitch.tv/arson. But let's jump into it. So next, Blizzard's allowing us to vote for our tier set bonus for next season for every spec. So I'm mainly just going to talk about Affliction. There's a few other people I've seen talk about the different, what they like for each different season for the other specs for Warlock. I think Demo is like season 3 still. I think they want season 3, and then Destro I think is season 1 is what most people want right now. I don't know too much about those, but you know, there's a few videos so if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But I will talk about the Affliction one. So I specifically want season 3, and that's for a few reasons. One, season 1's tier set bonus was not terrible. If you didn't play in season 1, basically what it did was every time your agony ticked, when you got a shard back, you had a chance to just get 15% haste. And then it would have the 4 set bonus, which was you would basically get a stack, and it went up to 5 stacks, and it would increase the damage of your next Rapture or Seed by like 40%. But they did say in their thing that whichever one wins, they're going to make some adjustments for it in season 4. So, you know, that set bonus might be a little bit higher percentage, maybe more in line with what we have currently with the 50% and 60% or whatever. But either way, the main part of it that I don't like of the season 1 set, I'm not even going to talk about season 2, by the way, because I don't want that set at all. We don't want that set, in my opinion. I don't think it was very impactful for our set as in general. But the main portion of it was the 2 set that just activated whenever you had like an RNG chance of agony ticking, right? I don't like that. I like that we can fully control when we activate our bonus, right? So 2 set Soul Rot deals 50% increased damage, all that kind of stuff. But the fact that Soul Rot's what activates our tier set, and we can control exactly when we want that, and we can even take, Solar's Gluttony to activate it more frequently. That's what the best part about this tier set is, in my opinion. So that's why I'm going to suggest that you vote for season 3. You can vote for whatever season you want, but I'm going to suggest that you vote for season 3. Just because of that main reason, right? It does still kind of lock us in to playing Soul Rot with Solar's Gluttony, but I think that we were already kind of playing this. Even if maybe if season 1 wins, we maybe wouldn't play all the way down this row. Maybe we'd go down a little bit further row. So it's hard to say about that. But for me, I personally like season 3. And I think that this is probably one of the best like versions that we've gotten of Affliction in Dragonflight is what we're currently in right now. The builds are a little not as diverse as maybe season 1 and season 2 was. Season 2, I think, had a lot of build diversity. So I understand that. But we kind of always played around Grimreach because of the Warlock trinket, which will probably be back in full force in season 4 as well, since they're doing the whole Fated Raid system. So we'll still probably be playing Dark Lair for that. I don't know if Grimreach will be a thing because I don't know what dungeons we'll have yet, and I think Grimreach kind of relies on huge pulls every 2-ish minutes of getting like a lot of value, whereas I think with the Soul Rot build and Dark Harvest and all that kind of stuff, I think we get a lot more value no matter what, and specifically in single target, which kind of leads me into what I want to talk about next. If you notice, I'm running Dread Touch. So in my last video, if you saw, which I kind of talked about, my favorite build right now is playing NoHaunt. I'm still enjoying playing NoHaunt. Even on tyrannical weeks, I'm still playing NoHaunt. You can play Haunt if you want. I think Haunt and Crescendo are actually very close to each other. I'll look at some sims in a bit here. But specifically for Doom Blossom versus Dread Touch. Those are the sims I did, not Crescendo versus Haunt. These are very similar. You can kind of play what you want there. I feel like, though, it feels way better to not have to cast Haunt constantly. And I feel like the impact of it, for me at least lately, has been that without having to cast Haunt, our setup just feels that much faster, and in AoE it feels even more faster, right? If you're not playing with Doom Blossom, you don't even have to put UA out on target if you're not going to be shipping your Dark Lair, right? So you can put UA out there if you run out of shards or something like that. You should still have UA out there eventually, but in maybe a pull where there's things like smaller, if you're doing lower keys or something like that, you can just Vile Taint, Soul Rot, immediately start dumping your seeds, right? If you're running Haunt and Dread Touch, or sorry, if you're running Haunt and Doom Blossom, you're going to want to at least get that UA out there and then do that whole setup. So granted, it's only a couple seconds, and if you're fine with it, there's nothing wrong with that. But for me personally, this is what I've been enjoying. And I will say, the AoE without Doom Blossom has been surprisingly good. Like, I was talking about this in the past, and I've talked about it on stream because I've been asked about this a bunch, but essentially in the past I said The AoE loss for taking Dread Touch was greater than the single target gain for taking Doom Blossom. Or sorry, you know, than taking for Dread Touch. So you got more AoE value than you did single target value, right? But now I think it's the inverse. I think you get more single target value from taking Dread Touch than you do from taking Doom Blossom and AoE, right? And I think a lot of that has to do with the Dark Harvest change and the Soul Rot buff damage with our tier set, which again, Season 3 I think is still the best one for us. But I'll go over some sims in a second here. We'll kick it over and then we can talk about that a little bit. All right, so over here, this is my Patchwork 4-minute single target, right? I literally didn't change any gear or anything like that. This is just my straight up gear, and it's just Haunt with, or NoHaunt with Doom Blossom versus NoHaunt with Dread Touch, right? So you can see it's about a 10%, 9.6% damage loss in pure single target over 4 minutes to not have Dread Touch, which is kind of a lot of damage. I mean, 157, this is no lust, by the way. I don't sim with lust, no buffs. This is just baseline 100%, right? If you look at it, you know, 10%-ish to go, a little bit over 10%, sorry, to go to Dread Touch in pure single target. And then in AoE, Doom Blossom still wins, but it only wins about by 6%. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, Doom Blossom is definitely still better in AoE. This is 8 targets 1 minute, right? And Doom Blossom and big pulls definitely gains a lot of value. However, there's not many keys that have that, and I feel like our sacrifice losing a little bit of AoE to gain that much more single target, which seems to be a little bit more impactful in keys in my opinion this season, is way better. Our AoE is still very competitive without Doom Blossom, right? Let's just say this is without Doom Blossom. That compared to our single target without Dread Touch is the problem, right? That's kind of where lately for me in keys, I have been way leaning more towards Dread Touch in every situation, even in keys that I would normally not run Dread Touch, which is like Everbloom and things like that that are a little bit more AoE focused. I've been going still towards Dread Touch, specifically because of this. Yes, it's more AoE with Doom Blossom, but it's not enough single target without it. You know what I mean? So I kind of just want to talk about that real quick. Also, briefly just mention, I get asked about trinkets a lot lately, about Spindle, Suncaller, whatever I like to run. I have been running like Branch and Blood way more consistently because I've just been kind of lazy as far as like Spindle and Suncaller are concerned. But I click on and just go over what my Suncaller and Spindle look like. It's about 2% in single target for me with Suncaller and Spindle, right? You can kind of see I've been running Branch with Blood most of the time, which is this. 176. So 2%, 2.3% with speed with Spindle and Suncaller. It's definitely still an upgrade if you're comfortable using it. The last couple weeks have been Volcanic and Storming. I swear to God, the amount of times that I've got interrupted on Spindle, as much as I'm trying to play around it, it's kind of why I just started playing Branch. But Spindle and Suncaller are definitely still very, very good for us. So if you want to run those, especially going into a Tyrannical week, if you want to run those Tyrannical, go for it. If you don't have them or you're not comfortable running them, Branch plus Blood or Branch plus C-Star, all very, very competitive, right? So quickly, just wanted to go over that. I am still favoring Dread Touch in almost every situation right now. Doom Blossom for fun, lower keys or whatever, but if you're really trying to worry about your single target damage or you feel like your single target isn't competitive, do that. This build is also showing like this trinket or this necklace or whatever. Don't worry about that. But either way, definitely consider playing with Dread Touch now over Doom Blossom almost all the time. Again, if you really want to go Haunt, my Haunt sims, I don't have them on here right now, but these are so close to each other, and I just found Crescendo a little bit better, especially for maintaining Dread Touch uptime. Also, before we like end all this and wrap it all up, speaking of the trinkets and stuff going into Season 4, we don't know everything about Season 4 yet. I'll definitely be making more videos talking about it, so be sure to hit the subscribe and all that good stuff, right? But if Warlock Trinket comes back, it will probably be buffed, and it will probably still be BIS for us. There is a bunch of other trinkets as well in these various raid tiers that were pretty good that were like stat trinkets, like Incarnate Icon, right? And then Aberrus had another stat, like, which one was it called? Like Chromatic Essence, I think it was another one. These will probably be very good for us too. So I'm going to be trying to do a bunch of sims and testing a bunch of things for us, but the trinket situation next season without even knowing the dungeons is probably going to be pretty crazy. However, the Warlock class trinket, or just the class trinket in general, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is Neltharian's called Dominus. There's different ones for every class, but ours was every time you pop Dark Glare, depending on what stacks you had, you got a bunch of intellect from it. It used to be 10,000 intellect at 10 stacks. Now it's like 5,000 intellect at 10 stacks, something like that. But it will be adjusted for, you know, whatever next season's bonus is. But just wanted to touch on our trinkets next season are probably going to be all over the place at first until we figure out what really works, because there'll still be a Suncaller, there'll still be a Spindle, there'll still be all that kind of stuff, right? So Next season might actually be very interesting as far as like trinkets and things are concerned. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, definitely hang out, and I'll be making this video as many videos talking about that stuff as I can, or figuring that stuff out with you guys too. So thank you so much for hanging out. Let's go and wrap this up. All right, guys. So I think that about wraps it up. Nothing too crazy with this one. I kind of just wanted to make it a brief video. I wanted to get this out a little bit sooner, but I've been streaming so much and some other stuff going on, but it's all good. Hopefully this isn't too late for you guys. I got a lot of questions on the stream, so I was trying to answer that. If you didn't know, I stream Tuesday through Saturday, so feel free to come by the stream, ask any questions you might have about that kind of stuff. I get it all the time, but I wanted to make a quick video over here for the YouTube. I want to vote for Season 3 Affliction, tier set bonus. Season 1's not terrible. Don't vote for Season 2, in my opinion. Trinkets, kind of still interesting. I think Spindle and Suncolor still are best, but Branch and all that kind of stuff still good. And Dread Touch in almost every situation right now, which is kind of funny because at the end of last season, I specifically said I really hope the Dread Touch doesn't come together, and it did. So here we kind of are. In my opinion, I think Dread Touch is actually very, very solid in most cases. I definitely didn't think Dark Lair was still going to be around right now, but here he is. Extending Soul Rot, extending Vile Taint, extending all of our dots on all of those mobs is really the value that happens there. Mobs, whatever. Extending all of our dots on every mob is very impactful, especially with the Soul Rot portion of it. Single target, I don't think it's as crazy. I do think the dot extension is a little bit more impactful than I originally thought, but I still hope that we get a rework or a little bit of adjustment soon. There are still plenty of things wrong with Affliction right now. Shard Generation being one of them. Siphon Life being another one. We just need a little bit more of smoothing out our like rotation and stuff. We're kind of like this clunky generator class that doesn't really have a good generator. We're just relying on Agony Ticks, and I don't know. We're in definitely a weird spot, but I'm still having a ton of fun. So if you're interested in more Affliction stuff, feel free to hit the subscribe button, come by the stream, hang out, twitch.tv/Arson. I'm doing Affliction stuff all the time. I've been doing other little things here and there, but we still do Affliction stuff all the time over there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.